Empezar con, wow, okay. Empezar con el pie izquierdo. Empezar con el pie izquierdo. What does this mean? This is a long one. It's quite long. Empezar con el pie izquierdo. This means to get off on the wrong foot. So it happens. And it's funny when it happens. Sometimes it's, you can get worried, or maybe you are nervous, right? You're nervous and you accidentally said something that you didn't mean to say. I don't know. You can get off on the wrong foot with someone. That happens. So if you want to say that in Spanish, you can say empezar con el pie izquierdo. And it's funny because in English you're saying, wrong foot. In Spanish you're saying left foot. For some reason, I'm not sure why. Empezar in Spanish means to begin or to start doing something. I don't know. Maybe because we're talking about certain things that happen at the beginning of an interaction. Maybe that's why. Con means with. Con ella, with her. Con él, with him. Okay, so con means with. El, the. Okay, pie, foot. And in Spanish, if you want to say feet, you can just add an S at the end of the word pie. Pies, los pies, the feet. In English, it's not like that. You cannot say foots, right? So, but in Spanish, it's easy. You just add the letter S and that's it. Pies, feet. Pie means foot. Izquierdo means left. Okay? Izquierda, we're not saying izquierda. That also means left. Izquierdo and izquierda both mean left, but we're saying izquierdo because we're talking about the foot, and the foot or foot in Spanish is masculine. So that's why you say el pie, the foot. And because this noun pie is masculine, you need to have a masculine adjective. Okay? So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. It's quite interesting how, Spanish has grammatical genders. It can be complicated. Anyways, let's look at some examples using this phrase. Empecé con el pie izquierdo. Con tus padres al llegar tarde. Empecé con el pie izquierdo con tus padres al llegar tarde. This means I got off on the wrong foot with your parents by arriving late or because I'm late, Oops, oopsie, it was not, I didn't want to do this, but I got there late. So now they're mad or something. I don't know, right? So that can happen. Yo empecé con el pie izquierdo, the whole phrase. That means I got off on the wrong foot. Okay? And you don't need yo. You just need to conjugate the verb empezar. Yo empecé, tú empezaste, él empezó, nosotros empezamos, and so on. So we don't need yo here. Empecé con el pie izquierdo. I got off on the wrong foot. Con means with. Okay. Tus means your. Padres, parents. And we're saying tus and not tú because we have plural, padres. Okay, padres means parents. And if you have a plural noun, then you need tus padres, your parents, if you want to say that. Okay. Al llegar, al, similar to by, llegar tarde. When you use the term llegar tarde, that means to arrive late or to get there late, somewhere late. But right here we have the gerund arriving. In Spanish, we don't have the gerund. That would be llegando. We don't have it. We have the verb in the infinitive form instead. So remember that when you say al llegar tarde, that means by arriving late or by getting somewhere late. Okay, so keep that in mind. Tarde means late. Llegaste tarde, you're late or you got here late. Also, tarde means afternoon. So that's another meaning of tarde, but tarde means also late. Excellent. So yeah, oopsie, that happened. That happened, right? So that's an interesting situation. How can you fix that? You can just apologize a little bit, I guess. You can just say, I'm sorry. Lo siento. I'm sorry I'm late. Lo siento que llegué tarde, right? Anyways, so let's look at another example and let me just erase the red here. It's too much red everywhere. Oh my goodness. Okay, so the next example is Miguel y yo empezamos con, I'm going to have to move this up a little bit. Oops. El pie izquierdo. ¿Qué puedo hacer? Miguel y yo empezamos con el pie izquierdo. ¿Qué puedo hacer? Okay, so this is the letter P. Anyways, so what are we talking about here? This means Miguel and I got off on the wrong foot. What can I do? What can I do to fix the situation? Right? Man. Miguel, that's the other person. Miguel, Michael, okay. Y and yo and I, yo, I. Empezamos, so we have the phrase we're learning right here. Empezamos, nosotros empezamos. We don't need nosotros because we're talking about Miguel and I, right? So that's why we're saying empezamos. But we don't need nosotros, of course, because we already said Miguel and I. It's like saying Miguel and I, we, you know, ... So we don't need the we here. Course, empezamos con el pie izquierdo. So the whole sentence, the only thing that changes is the verb empezar. This one right here. Well, you don't see it. This one right here, right? So you need to know the conjugation of the verb empezar if you want to use this phrase. Anyways, Miguel and I got off on the wrong foot. That's a statement. ¿Qué means what? Puedo. Yo puedo. We don't need yo in questions. Personal pronouns in questions are really not necessary. So that's why we don't have yo here. But that means puedo means can I. Okay. Hacer. hacer means do. Hacer is a verb that means to do or to make. Estoy haciendo comida or la comida. I'm making food. Okay? Estoy haciendo ejercicio. Well, that one is different because when you say hacer ejercicio, that means exercising. So that's a whole different phrase. But hacer means to make or to do. When you ask the question, ¿qué puedo hacer? ¿Qué puedo hacer? That means, what can I do? So that question can be used in different situations. If you want to say, what can I do? ¿Qué puedo hacer? ¿Qué puedo hacer? Okay, so that's a very useful question right there. Okay, so remember, if you want to use this phrase, you need to know the conjugation of the verb empezar. Empezar is a great verb that means to start, to begin. But in this situation, it doesn't mean that. In this phrase, the meaning is completely different. Empezar is an irregular verb, so you need to know its particular conjugation. Okay? So keep that in mind.